Hey everybody, John Delarose here. I'm coming at you from 20 Books Vegas, and we're in a corridor right between the parking garage and the actual hotel. It's like the only place we can find to record, which is interesting. I've got a special guest, Cutler, right here. She is, what's your title?
I'm the director, founder of Ingram Spark.
Awesome. So I have had all my books out through Ingram Spark, not from myself for the last couple years, but from other people doing it for me. And so I looked it up and looked up the site myself and figured out how to do it myself this last month. And it wasn't hard, guys. This is the cool thing. So basically, you're a print-on-demand service, a distribution service.
Yes.
What do authors not know about Ingram Spark that makes you different from your competition?
So Ingram Spark is Ingram's self-publishing platform. Ingram is the world's largest book distributor. We're a global company. We provide print-on-demand, a global print-on-demand service as well. We also do ebooks too. So it's kind of like a one-stop if you want to make your book available directly on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. If selling to bookstores and libraries is important to you, then Ingram Spark is really a good choice for you.
And what's cool, because I know we got a lot of comics creators who watch this, is I mentioned that I've actually used the service, which not a lot of people do, to actually create the comic books and have them be print on demand so that people can always find my comic books and always purchase those and pick those up, which is awesome. And that is that's something that is not really out there on the market with quality paper and things like that. So we are able to do something that nobody else really has done through this, and I appreciate that. So
thank you.
So full color's an option, and it's there, any size you want to go, you can pretty much
do a tiny one up to a big one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So
Hardcover.
that's stuff that I'm into. I actually have a question because you mentioned ebook distribution.
Yes.
Now I just put my ebooks up through KDP, which is the Kindle version.
Yeah.
And they've got like a Kindle comic creator that does that. Do other services like Apple and Kobo, do they support color inside?
I know Apple does.
They do.
And Apple would be a good channel for comic books.
So that's interesting. I might want to investigate going into other channels with the ebook through this.
Should.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they're really just changing everything up. And I don't have great questions, unfortunately, because I think the site's so intuitive. It's you sign up, you make an account, you have to put in your credit card information, stuff like that, so you can actually buy the books that you print and all that. And then there's like a formatting process, which this is where it gets a little user unfriendly, but there's really no way around this, guys. So if you want to learn it yourself, you kind of got to learn the lingo behind that, because I've noticed that compared to other printers and all that, you've got a very robust trim and bleed to make sure that everything stays in the middle of the page.
Yeah.
And that
can be tricky.
Harder on the design side, but what you'll find out is if you've done something like Create Space or something like that, that the trim and bleed that you guys use make it so that the books end up more consistent.
Yes.
Right?
So what, John, I'm so glad you're talking about this, because this is like a key piece, is to actually format the files so that they work in our system. And it can be a little tricky, especially if you don't have any kind of design background,
I have none. And so and I decided to format my cover and all that for the first time myself about 2 weeks ago, and put it up on the site.
And what did you use?
I used your template. So what happens, Ingram's got a template. I'll put this in the link. And Ingram's got a template that you put in your ISBN number so they know what it is. And their template is an InDesign file that creates InDesign's a program that makes PDFs for you, basically. And you put your front cover, your back cover, your spine in there. And when you put the information on the website, you say it's 72 pages, and so it generates the spine that's like this big, or if it's 300 pages, it'll be this big. And so the template tells you exactly what you need to do.
Where to lay things in,
and
so it's a lot easier, yes.
And then it's got a little barcode information around it so that Ingram knows what this product that this is correlated to.
Yeah, the other thing that we're working on now, so if you've been an Ingram Spark customer, and I thank you if you have been, you'll notice that we're making all kinds of changes. If you're coming in new, this is just to let you know, we are going to be rolling out an interior formatting tool to help people like what you're talking about that have a hard time making that work, and you'll start to see that in the next month or so.
That's so exciting. On comics, you're going to have to probably have your own formatting in Illustrator ahead of time, because you got it with all the dialogue balloons and placement and all that. You'll want to. I've shown a video on how to letter and all that. So you'll want to use their specs, but probably do that on the comic side. On the book side, I actually for book books, I have not formatted my own books, and I'm looking forward to probably doing that for the first time next year.
Yeah.
And if it's out by then, I'll try your system out.
I think you would put it in, as that whole page is like an image.
Yeah.
And you would just kind of drop that in. I think it would be fairly easy for you.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
We'll try it out at the very least.
Yeah.
So you've got that. Another thing that was talked about at your panel yesterday was the ability to make changes, and this is kind of the tricky part, where if you spot a lot of typos in your book or whatnot, you do have to pay a small fee or whatever to actually re-upload the file and all that. And you're talking about doing like a 30 or 60-day window, so that when people report, which you'll get the vast majority of your typos reported in that 30 to 60 days from what I've understood, at least. We
don't have that in place yet, but we're working on making that available.
Yeah.
So the great thing about, and John, you know this from what you've already done as far as printing, and using a print-on-demand service like Ingram Spark is you can go back and make changes. That's one of the best things about it. If you print inventory and then later, you find a typo or something you want to change, you're kind of stuck with that outdated inventory, which especially if you're a new author, I caution you against printing before you really know the size of your audience and also the quality of the work itself, so that you can change it.
I was mentioning to her earlier that I was using Kickstarters to know exactly how many I need to print in order.
I'm so impressed by that.
What I do on the Ingram side is, since comics is a collectible deal, I offer an exclusive variant cover that's only on the Kickstarter.
Okay.
And so I utilize the sort of refreshing tool, and how I do it is I put in the variant cover, and I print my 100 copies of the variant cover or whatever it is, and then I just use the same ISBN and I swap the cover out, and then that's going to be the permanent cover. And
that's smart.
It's a very simple way to do it, and it creates that limited feature that I will never print those again at that point, right?
It's a premium for your donors, right?
So definitely things to do, and I think some of these comic things like this, I think, can be used in the book world, and people aren't doing it, which is kind of interesting, right?
I think you're really smart in how you're doing this, and I really haven't heard of other authors doing it the way you're doing it, and I think you're really onto something.
Thanks. Yeah. So all sorts of cool features. What else do you have on your platform?
Let's see. It's to find us. We're Ingram, INGRAM Spark, SPARK.com. We also have really fantastic, especially for new authors that are just learning about publishing. We have a lot of fantastic blog content to kind of teach you. We have courses that we offer. They're totally free on the site. So, come to the site and just kind of sign up, and you'll learn a lot about, what John is also teaching you here. So
yeah, it's cool. And another cool thing is you offer ISBNs with the content. So I buy my own ISBNs because it's a matter of control, which she always recommends.
Yeah.
But if you don't know that you're going to need X amount of ISBNs and all that, and you're just trying this out and just want to try something, that's a great feature that just like makes it a lot easier for you. It saves a step that no other sort of publishers would be able to do for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we just started doing that. We've kind of resisted for years because I'm a huge advocate that, just as John is doing, that you own your ISBN. I think over time, wherever you get a free ISBN, it's going to be tied to that resource where you got it. So over time, as an indie author and an indie publisher, it's really good best practice to own them.
Great. And the reason I actually went to Ingram to begin with, or at least my original publisher did, was because Ingram does hardcovers, and that's the other thing that you'll find. A lot of others don't do hardcovers, and the hardcovers are so beautiful. They come out, I think, the quality on those is better than what you find in bookstores for the most part.
Oh, yay!
I think.
Thank you.
Personally.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm gushing, I know, but
Well, this is interesting because Ingram launched a company, and some of you may have heard of it, 20 years ago called Lightning Source, and that is our print-on-demand company. And it is state of the art. You know, we continue to improve, we continue to expand, you know, different kind of offerings. You know, we're looking now at different kind of papers that, and we test it, you know, relentlessly. So it takes us a while to bring out something new, but we're always adding to, you know, what your choices are within our print on demand.
Yeah, more options makes everything better, not only for you, but for the customers who want to buy the books.
Yeah,
So.
and it is very affordable. It's kind of pay as you go.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
So for a comic book, which I've got a 30-page comic book I just put out, it costs about a little over $4 to print one of those, which is not so bad. I mean, if you are, I mean, obviously, if you're printing 1,000 of them, that's not a good rate.
Yeah.
But if you're only printing 10, 20, 30, 100 at a time, whatever it is, that's going to be about as competitive as you can get on the marketplace. And they're fast too. That's the other thing. You can actually set it up for a day turnaround if you have a convention that you're going to, and you're just like. Trying to get, of course, there's a surcharge for shipping and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
this time of year we might be a little slower. This is, and I know over time we are right before the holiday season right now.
I just printed a proof. I don't know, and I did it. I ran it through over the weekend.
Okay.
And it shipped out to me on Tuesday. I didn't get it yet because I'm out here.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
That's good.
yeah,
That's
it
great.
was pretty good.
Yeah. The other thing and I'll just drive this point a little more home, is that's unique about us is, you know, we're tied to Ingram, like I said, which is the world's largest book distributor. So, you know, that's where bookstores and libraries come to buy content, you know, from across a multiple group of publishers. The largest, you know, in the world, like the Random House Penguin, down to a single book author, you know, come to the Ingram to buy, you know, content. So it's important, you know, as an indie author to know about Ingram, to make sure your book is available from Ingram, even if you're working with an indie publisher or a traditional publisher. You know, you need to make sure your book's available from Ingram. So with Ingram Spark, you instantly have that kind of tied together, which is really great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. If anything else, just having the option out there is good. I mean, I get a lot of fans from Europe, and Ingram's got its own distribution in Europe. And what makes this great is, you know, if somebody just orders from Ingram rather than, you know, if I'm having to ship it. Obviously, if I have to ship a book, it's going to cost $30 to go to England or whatever. But if somebody orders from Ingram, they're just going to pay their domestic rates, and that is a huge deal for the audience overseas there.
Yeah, and then you just get paid for that transaction.
Yep.
Like, you haven't had to pack a book up and ship it out anywhere. So that is just, I think it's phenomenal.
It's invaluable. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it makes it really easy. So, so thank you so much.
So I'll put the link down in the comments so you guys can check it out, and I hope you'll investigate this stuff for yourself. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And we're going to have a great rest of our 20 books to 50K, and I'm going to put up a bunch of interviews. So hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the flip side.
Thanks, guys.